Hi, it's Leia here from the Centre of Ki. Today I'm going to show you how to make miso soup. Our ingredients are onion, ginger, carrot, daikon, miso, shiitake mushroom and wakame seaweed. So here we have 3 dried shiitake mushrooms. Now if you have fresh mushrooms you can use those as well, but if they're dried we're going to need to add some boiling water and just let them soak for about 10 to 15 minutes if you can, just to soften up a bit. Okay. Here we have the wakame seaweed. So this seaweed can be found in supermarkets. You can get it, it's Japanese seaweed or also Australian. And we just add some cold water to the seaweed to let it rehydrate. In our saucepan, we have some oil. So we want to heat the oil up a little bit. And then we're going to add onion. So we've sliced the onion up and we just want to stir through the onion through the oil. You can see in the back right of the screen I've got a pot, and that's just my stock pot that I've got boiling, getting ready to be used in the soup as well. So we just stir the onion a little bit. I'm actually going to sweat it off a bit, so I'm going to put the lid on for a few minutes and then stir it through gently again just to make sure it's not sticking. So it takes a few minutes for the onion to soften up, and then add just a pinch of sea salt. Okay, so once the onion's already started to cook a little bit, then we can add a little bit of salt, stir that through, and again just put the lid on and leave that for a couple of minutes. Just check that it doesn't burn or stick to the bottom of the pot. Once we've done that, we're going to add the carrot and the daikon. So I've chopped these vegetables into cubes today. Sometimes I would do matchsticks, sometimes I would do half moons. Really depends on how I'm feeling on the day. So cubes are good because they're small, bite-sized pieces as well. So we just stir that through with the onion and let that cook for a little bit. Now I've got my stock here. I'm going to strain the veggies out of the stock. So I've just used the ends of the veggies. So the carrot peelings, the ends of the broccoli, some onion skins, things like that. Things that you'd normally probably throw away, we can use to make a stock with. And then we can discard them. I throw them in my compost. So we've got this lovely vegetable stock. We then add that into the pot. Now you want to pour it in gently. So there's going to be some residue in the bottom of the bowl, so from the veggies. Sometimes there's a bit of dirt still, so we just want to make sure we don't pour the dirt into the soup. Lovely. And I'm just adding a little bit more fresh water here just to beef it up a bit, just to make it a bit more volume. Okay, lovely. So we want to cook the soup in the liquid there about 15 to 20 minutes, just on a very low flame, just to soften things up. So here I've got the dried mushrooms which were soaking, squeezing out some of the excess liquid. We're going to chop the stalks off and then slice them and add them into the soup. Now I'm going to add just a dash of shoyu, so a bit of flavouring, so some salt. So shoyu is a good addition. We don't need too much because we're going to be adding miso as well, and the miso is quite salty too, so we don't want to have it too salty. Now here is the wakame which has been rehydrated. So I'm going to strain the water off the wakame, and then we're going to slice that up and add that to the soup as well. So basically we don't ever want to bring this pot to the boil. It's just going to be on a low flame just to simmer if anything. So adding the wakame in, and once that's in we can give the pot a bit of a stir just to stir it through. Lovely. So always on a low flame, never boiling. And then once we add the ginger, the same thing applies. So we never want to boil the soup if we've added the ginger already, because ginger, we don't want to heat it too much. It's going to lose its natural healing qualities. So ginger is a great addition to the soup. I was using a very old ceramic ginger grater, which I've had for a long time. You can get those at supermarkets and homeware shops. If not, you can use a microplane to grate your ginger as well. Lovely. So that's all put in the pot now. Here comes the miso. So always use a really good quality miso paste. So one that preferably doesn't have any MSG or any other preservatives or additives in it. Preferably unpasteurised if you can as well, if you can find it. So we just add a bit of soup stock to the miso paste in a bowl and we dissolve it gently. So always better to start with a little less miso paste. I think in this one particularly, I think I maybe added a bit too much. So just better to start off with a little less and then taste. And then if you need to add some more, you can add some more a little later on, because once it's in, it can't come out. If you do find that you've added too much, you could add a little bit of just extra water to dilute it a bit, but that's entirely up to you. So we just stir that through, and we can just leave the pot to sit for 10 minutes or so, just gently on a low heat. Again, we don't want to boil the soup once the miso is in there as well, because the miso is a living organism. All right, so the soup is now ready to serve. Always serve your miso with some chopped spring onion as a garnish. Again, that helps with the digestive quality of the food. It helps it just offsets the miso, the salt, with a bit of pungency in the spring onion, which is really good. So pop that on top. Just a sprinkle is nice. And then we're good to go. Enjoy.